Welcome back to Mr. Franklin Explains Some Math. I am going to try to explain how a problem using the substitution method for solving a system of linear equations works. We've got a system of linear equations. You can tell it's a system. We're trying to find a solution of both of these at the same time because of this big bracket here. If we were going to graph these two, you could find the solution by finding where the two lines intersect. We're going to use an algebra technique. Here, we've got a couple of things going on first. The first step is usually to take one of the two equations and solve it for y or solve it for x. This first equation has already been solved for y. It's already in the form y equals mx plus b. I've already done the first step for you. So we're going to proceed to the next step, which is the substitution step. I'm going to rewrite this second equation here. So I've got 4x minus, but I'm going to leave a little space in the form of parentheses, because what I'm going to do is take this y out. This is 4x minus y equals 1, but I'm going to take the y out and put in what y equals, which is 2x plus 1. Then I will use the distributive property. We've got this negative. It applies to the 2x. Carry down the 4x. And then I've got minus 2x. That's the same thing as saying that there's an invisible number 1 in here. So I've got negative 1 times positive 2x is negative 2x. And then negative 1 times positive 1 is negative 1, and this equals 1. Doing a couple of algebra steps here, like first I will combine these like terms. 4x minus 2x is 2x. And then I will add 1 to both sides. This eliminates, giving me 2x equals 2. And of course, then I will divide both sides by 2. And I'm left with x equals 1. But we're not done yet, because we know that x equals 1, but we don't know about y yet. We've already used this equation over here, the second equation, 4x minus y equals 1. And into that we plugged what y equals. But now we know that y equals 2x plus 1. And we know that x equals 1. So we can substitute that in here. So y equals 2 times 1 plus 1. Because x equals 1. And now we can simplify that. 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1. And we can see that y equals 3. So now we have a solution. X comma y equals 1 comma 3. And I'm writing this in the form of a point, because the solution to a system of linear equations is the intersection point of the two lines. And we could check that with Desmos by graphing our two lines and seeing that they intersect at 1 comma 3. But since this is an algebra lesson, I'm going to show an algebra solution to make sure that we have done this right. I know that x equals 1 and y equals 3. That has to work in both of these equations. So I've got y equals 2 times 1 plus 1 is 2 plus 1, which is 3. When x equals 1, y equals 3. That's the easy one. And I think we already knew that one. Next, we're going to check in this second equation. We're going to plug in 1 for x and 3 for y. and make sure that we get 1. You probably see it already, but here I go. 4 times 1 minus 3, that equals 4 minus 3, which of course is 1, which is what we wanted. So it checks out, and our solution works in both equations at the same time, so we know it's right. Feel free to check it in Desmos if you want to see it with a graphing solution too. So that's the explanation of number 2 on today's worksheet, which you should have tried these steps first, but maybe you just skipped right to the video. Anyway, stay safe, stay sane, and I will see you on the other side.